My name is Femi Akonde, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the hottest debate show on TV, The Big Issue. Well, they say once you see any man, you see polygamy. No African man can stick to one woman. I don't care if he's indigenous African American or African Caribbean. It's in their nature to spread love across and to have more than one woman. Those are the words of Queen Aneva Adeniyi Adegeye, one of the wives of the Juju Maestro King Sunny Ade, in an interview with a leading magazine. Do you agree with that submission? Well, in this part of the world, they say men are excusable when it comes to having multiple partners. It is assumed that they cannot be satisfied by just one woman due to their deep-rooted appetite for variety. We always say variety is the spice of life. Well, again, veritably from a biological perspective, could this be the reality? Are men naturally polygamous? Well, we toss the coin, and when we return, we get the debate started. And you're watching The Big Issue. Are men naturally polygamous? Well, that's our subject of debate today, and I can bet it is indeed going to be an interesting debate. Well, I have here joining me Seun Idowu. Seun Idowu is a researcher. Come up stage, Seun. Welcome, Seun Idowu. Welcome, Seun.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, Seun believes men should be excused when it comes to having multiple partners. Are you for real?
Yeah.
Wow, welcome, Seun, again. On the flip side is Michael Owokade. He's a social commentator. Welcome, Michael. Come on stage. Michael Owokade, welcome, a social commentator. He is of the opinion that men are not naturally polygamous. It is more of a personal choice. Why do you feel it is more of a personal choice?
First, the subject, men are polygamous, it's an opinion statement. It's not a general thing because out of all the men in the world, we cannot say all of them are cheating. You know, so I stand on that point to say all men are not polygamous.
Seun believes all men are polygamous. Come on, Seun. Prove your point.
It is an injustice to man to establish that monogamy is the only right thing, is the only form of marriage relationship. It is an injustice to man to restrict a man to a single wife. I want to say again, repressing a man sexually is like you blocking an ever-flowing river. Eventually, one way or the other, it will burst. And men have been bursting. If you have checked the news recently, in the US, remember the days of Clinton and Monica Lewinsky? You remember Donald Trump in the last year's election? You remember Weinstein, this film maker, film producer. Recently, many people have come out to accuse the judge, the former president of the United States, George Bush Sr. These are examples. These are showing that men will always find their way to express their sexuality.
So the desire for having multiple partners is in you.
Let's go to the question. Forget about me now. Let's tackle the question.
A man.
Yes, I'm a man. A man is a natural polygamist. Men are naturally polygamous, and this is scientifically proven. Should I go ahead to prove it?
Are you just going to watch
yes.
Go on
so
and on?
Let me take it from there. In the world today, we work with statistics and facts and figures. The world population as we speak today is approximately 7.8 billion, while the male ratio is on about 50.1% on the woman and 49.9%. And that goes to show that 3.8 billion, yes, 3.8 billion men are on the world. Now, if you check the age range between 25 years old and above, you will see that, about 2.2 billion male between 25 years old and up, which we expect to be in a relationship, whether in marriage or in a relationship or courtship. Are you saying, Sheun, today, that 2.2 billion men on the surface of the earth are cheaters? Answer that.
Wow.
We are not talking of morality
question.
here. We are not talking of morality here. And we are not talking of social issues here. We are looking at the scientific aspect, the scientific makeup, the biological makeup of a man.
Okay.
Forget about social sciences. Research findings are skewed by the feminists, by women's rights activists to support an idea.
That's not true.
Let's look at the biological makeup of a man.
Biological makeup of a man?
This is a question.
So tell us.
The question we are tackling is are men naturally polygamous?
Men are not naturally polygamous.
We are talking of science.
Men are not naturally polygamous.
We are talking of the biological and physiological makeup of a man.
Let me ask you this.
Do you agree with that? We need to agree on the question. We need to agree on the
What's
topic of
the
discussion.
question?
The question is,
Yeah.
are men naturally
Men
polygamous?
are not naturally polygamous.
When you hear the word nature, what does it connote?
Okay, fine. I was coming to that now. When you hear polygamy, what comes to your mind?
Polygamy means a man who is married to one or two or more women.
2 or more.
Yes.
When you hear polygamy, what comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind is this. Men have the tendency, they have the natural tendency, inbuilt, God-given tendency to reach out to multiple women and marry them as wives.
That's not true.
And I have scientific backings for this.
That's not true.
Now, okay, let me put it to you.
Yeah, put it to
Let
me.
me put it to you.
Let's hear its scientific backing.
Yeah, thank you. We call a hormone
Yes.
testosterone,
Yeah.
and it is responsible for aggressiveness, masculinity, and lust.
Okay.
Men and women have it, but men have it more, and that is a fact. It is a scientific fact. No social research study or finding can refute that. It is a fact. Men have higher
Men have
testosterone
higher
than women.
testosterone
now,
has not brought about living
So
a life that is not
Should
responsible.
we just say,
When
maybe we should now remove this word polygamous? Or should we say men are natural philanderers?
Let me take it from there. Let me take it from there. Let me take it from there. Let me take it from there.
Let's allow him
Let me
to
take it
take
from
it
there. Something comes to mind here. We remember the story of Joseph in the Bible.
Oh, don't go there, my friend.
I need to go there. Please
Go there. Let him go there. Hold on, show.
Okay, go ahead.
Let him
It
take
was
us
called
there.
upon by Potiphar's wife to come live with her, and then he refused. If by what you're saying by scientific proofs, he should have gone ahead and do it. Now, let me say this.
Perhaps it was just discipline.
It was discipline.
Self-control.
I'm coming there.
My
Thank you very
fellow
much. I'm
debater,
coming there.
you are mixing things up.
I'm not mixing it
You
up.
are mixing things up.
Let's
listen. Let's listen. Show. Hold on. He has the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
So, if you talk about scientific backings or whatever you want to call it,
is it a fact or not?
it
You
is
have
not
to
a
agree with
fact.
that. Oh my God.
Let's improve his point. Let's
If it is
improve his point.
if it is a fact,
You argue with biologists, with scientists,
Show it is
that is not a
if
fact
it is a
that men
fact,
have higher testosterone than women.
if it's a fact, you can lay with other women just like as dog lay with other women
Mix it
or
up.
other
Don't
dogs in the
mix it
street.
up.
Hold on, both of you, hold on. At this
mix it
point,
up.
we'll get to a segment that is called the Fire for Fire segment.
Okay.
In that segment, of course, it's a face-off.
All right.
Both of you are allowed
All
to
right.
get at each other's throat.
All right.
But now, I am the moderator, so I'm going to moderate these. Okay. Michael, you have the floor. Make your point.
If going by what you're saying, that it is scientifically proven and men is restricted, if you want to go by, it's a power on the inside, looking at the nature of the testosterone you mentioned, then men can as well be laying with other women in the street, just like as dog lays with other dogs in the street. Now, the point we are saying is this. It is not that man is being captured or pressed down in his mentality not to express himself. We have people who, by different situations, they find themselves. They didn't allow their lust, or by going by what you say now, to override on them. There's something called self-control and discipline. If you are saying because you have 10 billion in your account, you can squander it, then you don't have self-discipline. You should not be called a human being in the first place. So the point is this, whether it is there or not, it is self-discipline, your control that will measure, that will tell you when to use this thing or not. The fact that you see people in the street today, or in the news that you hear people that, attack on point to that. Like recently in the news about a few days ago, we had an issue, I'm not saying this to mock the family, my commissioner with the family who lost the deceased, talking about Bello and Miriam. based on reports, if the reports we are listening to or we got is something to go by with, then we can say that. But the point I'm trying to make is this. If you say because you have a certain product or feature in your reservoir, that you can do it another day, you're not a human being. So what I'm saying is, for otherness to be in the society, you, not the people, you define the discipline rules and live by it. So I say again that men are not naturally polygamous.
Let me ask now. They say men are naturally polygamous, and you scientifically told us that men have testosterone in their system, and of course you say women also have it. But now, why is the focus on men if we both have this same hormone? Come on, is it not just like giving a dog a bad name just to hang it?
Don't forget that I stated that men have it more. It's higher in men than women. Now, let me come back to you. We are looking at the question, are men naturally polygamous? And when we talk of nature, we are talking of what has been built in you. Fine, it's a choice. You can decide to use your ability.
It's a choice.
And not to use it.
You define it.
What natural?
Yes. What is nature?
What natural?
Can you define nature, please?
Nature is what God or the Creator or the Supreme Being
what is choice?
has given man to has given man to live by or to live with.
And then you can go and touch fire.
You can walk.
That's what it means.
Oh, no,
you can jump into the river and exercise your swimming skills.
Listen to me. You can naturally talk, but you can decide not to talk.
So when you say polygamy, excuse me, please, when you say polygamy...
Polygamous blood is in a man.
It's not true.
And you cannot deny that. It is natural.
It is not true.
It's now your choice whether to be polygamous or not to be polygamous or not to be.
It's not true.
Now, the point I'm trying to make is this. Don't criticize, don't lambaste a man who is polygamous, who is just expressing his natural God-given abilities.
What about,
say, oh, what you polygamous?
Hold on. Okay, so let me ask, and let's try to strike a balance. Now, you say we shouldn't lambaste a man who is trying to manifest what he has in him, that desire to be with multiple partners. Now, what about a woman who also decides to manifest, who we see manifesting that desire to be with multiple partners? What do we say? What should we say about that?
You see, that's where the issue of social control comes in.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Oh, no,
okay.
It's asking me the question.
All right.
We have social
control. You just mentioned that now.
The question is for him.
All right.
You would respond to that.
We have restraints. We have religious restraints. We have cultural restraints. But don't forget that these things change. They vary from age to age, from a society to another. In the past, men, check your Bible. People God loved were polygamous. Talk of Abraham, talk of David, talk of Jacob, talk of Solomon. These were people.
Talk of Jesus. Talk of Jesus.
Talk of Jesus. Jesus was not married.
Talk of Jesus.
Are you saying celibacy?
Talk of Apostle Paul.
Are you saying celibacy is the best
thing?
Talk
of Apostle Paul.
Are you saying celibacy is the best
thing? Talk of Jesus.
Are you saying
was Jesus ever married? Was Jesus polygamous?
Marriage.
Was Apostle Paul polygamous?
I'm telling you that these are choices, and the fact that you are making a choice to be polygamous does not mean that you should be hanged. Does not mean that you should be abused.
Nobody's talking about hanging here. The point is this: now, I want to ask you this: are all men today in the world today footballers?
No.
Good. Are all men artists?
No.
Are all men mechanics?
No.
Are all men lawyers?
No.
So why are all men polygamous?
How do you spread the love?
Why are all men polygamous?
Two questions for me.
I'm asking you, how do you spread...
Should I answer him first?
Hold on, let me ask you this. You answer me first.
But I'll answer him.
You, of course, how do you spread the love? How do you share that love, time, and commitment that you're supposed to put in a relationship? How do you spread it?
Femi, the Christians' holy book.
No, maybe we should leave religion out of these and just
making an allusion here.
All right, then.
The Christians' holy book, the Bible says, for God so loved the world
that he gave his only begotten Son.
How many are we? You said 7 billion or thereabouts?
Yes, 7.6 billion.
And God loves everyone.
Yes.
God is spreading the love. A man has many children.
I try and say God is polygamous by spreading the love.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, God is a polygamous.
God is polygamous.
God. Yes, because he gave us the ability.
Okay.
He gave us the traits.
Now.
A man,
if you bring the God factor.
I'm here to finish his answer. I'm here to finish answering his question.
If you bring
a man has many children. Well,
is many children defined as polygamy?
Wait, he's asking about love. How do you share love?
How do you spread it?
And he loves all his children. And even if he shows favoritism to one, an understanding man A sensible man knows that you don't show it, that you love a child more than the others.
So you are married, you're a married man.
Yes.
And your wife will be watching this at home.
Yes.
Will she be comfortable with your standpoint?
Let me say this.
Let me quickly let him answer that.
Okay.
Nothing is to be feared, but everything is to be understood. I have taken up my wife on this topic many times. She's a devoted Christian. She argues from the religious point of view. And I use a Bible, that same Bible that she reads every day, to argue for polygamy.
Let me take it from here.
Polygamy is biblical, is godly,
Let me take it from here. Let me take it from
All
here.
right, take it from here,
The fact that God allows something to happen does not mean he's given the final approval. Excuse me, please. You brought, excuse me, please. Hello. Excuse me, allow me land.
Let's listen to him. Let's listen to him.
No, I need to correct his notion.
Sean, listen, please.
You have your own chance to correct his
please.
notion.
You did mention you said you didn't want to bring the God factor into it. If you go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 25, because you brought the God factor into it.
Pastor Michael.
You did.
I didn't.
You said God.
You did.
Let's listen to Genesis chapter 1, verse
25. You said God is polygamous. So let's take it from there. When Jesus was talking to the disciples, he said, they asked him about what the book of law, according to Moses, talked about. He said he gave you, because of the handing of the heart, to separate from your wife. He said, he that made them male and female. From the beginning, it was not so. Now, it didn't say, it said a man, the Bible says a man shall leave his family, shall leave his parents, and cleave unto his what? Wife. Okay. W-I-F-E, not W-I-V-E-S.
Okay.
Now, that is the gold standard because you brought the gold standard into it.
So what's your question?
Now, I'm just correcting
He's just making his point.
I'm just correcting. Listen, allow me. Okay. So the God standpoint, by standard, by his own templates, is one man, one woman. And that is what will make the world be in order. You didn't mention, you said earlier, for control in the society. You did mention for control in the society. So now the thing is this. God does not create anything without manual. You want to know about how the world should be in peace and in all development, go back to that man. And that man is what? It's the scriptures.
Okay. Hold on, please.
I need to respond.
Hold on, please. There are some religions that allow polygamy.
Okay.
In that context, it is correct. The African culture.
Also, Christendom, it is correct, Femi.
Okay, hold on. Certain churches, or we have different
African
sects.
Churches, yeah.
Yes. Some of them might allow polygamy, and in their own context, it is correct. Even in the African context, it is correct. So we're not trying to condemn or cast aspersions at some doctrines that allow polygamy. What we are trying to prove, or what we are arguing now is, does man as a being naturally have that tendency to be with more than one woman?
Yeah.
Let's establish that.
Thank you for clarifying that, Femi.
Okay.
And I have proven it. I still have more proofs here to tell you that man is a natural polygamist. And before I go to that, let me tell you, 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 8.
Okay.
God told David, why did you sleep with Uriah, Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah?
What was the answer?
I gave you wives. Not only one wife, wives of Saul to your bosom.
Okay.
Yet went ahead. Hold on.
That's
and
one.
The father said, if you had wanted more, me, God, would have given you.
Let me ask you this.
No.
Let me ask you this.
Let me go to my point.
God gave us brain. God gave us brain. Excuse me, please. God gave us brain.
You're not talking about the Bible.
No. What you're saying is that, listen.
You said you have quoted the Bible. You have quoted the Bible. He's trying to counter your quotation.
You said God gave us wives. He told David he gave you wives. God has given you brain. You can choose to use it for either good or evil.
Polygamy is good.
Excuse me, please. Excuse me, let me land.
That's my choice.
Let me land, excuse me, please.
Well, before you land now, and before he makes his choice, I must say that the audience is also divided right now. Some, of course, are for sure who believes men naturally have that desire to be with more than one partner. And, of course, some are also on your side who believes no, men, of course, are not naturally polygamous.
Yes.
Well, at this point, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, it will be time for both of them to face off. We call that segment Fire for fire. You're watching The Big Issue. This is the Fire for Fire segment. Of course, the subject of debate is, are men naturally polygamous? Well, gentlemen, this is the Fire for Fire segment, and let me read out the Riot Act in this segment. You're free to ask yourselves questions, of course, interject, argue, counter each other's arguments, but we don't allow you to get physical. We don't throw punches here. This is not a boxing ring. And mind your language. The floor is yours. Fire for fire.
The question, the debate on debate today is, are men naturally polygamous? If that's your stand, going by the statistics I read out earlier in the show, I will also say that men are naturally monogamous, because if men are naturally, because going by what you say scientifically, man cannot defeat nature, right? You can, the longest of hours you can do without sleeping is about 3 days. That's about 72 hours. If you go to the 4th day, you will crash. That this nature will always go supreme and go above the choice of man. If by what you're saying, then the population of man, 3.8 we said earlier, we should all have all the men to be polygamous. So if all men are not polygamous, then it means that men are also monogamous.
See, I will keep saying it. You are mixing things up.
I'm not missing it.
Clear it up.
The question again is, are men naturally polygamous?
Sorry, let me ask you this. Are men,
of nature.
Let me flip it on the other side.
Okay.
Are men also naturally monogamous?
No.
Why? Do we have monogamous men today?
We do, by
Thank
choice.
You. So thank you, by choice now. So, sorry.
If you
talk
I
about
am
choice
saying
now,
that what nature has put into you, has imputed into you.
Nature.
Okay, let me give you more proofs.
Okay,
more
let me say something. I think that means there's a constant battle going on within a monogamous man to fight that desire to be with more than one partner.
I do not agree.
Let me tell you.
And why I will not agree is this. Now, if we also go back to the God factor, he said, I have put before you life and death. Listen, life and death. Choose life. I am not saying monogamous or polygamous is bad or evil. There's a place of choice which you are hitting. And I must say that if I hit the place of choice, then if we also have monogamous men in the population of the world today, it shows that they are there and they are not struggling.
Mike.
What was it?
Are you married?
I am married.
Can you tell us confidently
that
you've not looked at a woman apart from your wife?
Mind the choice of your language. You said looked.
Assessed.
Assessed. What do you mean by assess?
Oh, appreciated another woman's beauty.
Do you look, when I came into the state, did you look at me or not?
Yes, I did.
Why did you look at me?
Okay, let me rephrase my question.
So what are you talking about?
Have you ever...
You are talking about the place of choice and discipline.
Have you ever assessed a woman and sexual thoughts begin to roam in your mind?
The same way whether you are single, whether you are single or married.
Are you going to say yes or no?
What's the question again? Please ask the question.
Have you ever seen a woman apart from your wife and you are sexually aroused?
I am not.
And thoughts are going on you?
I am not.
Then you are not a man.
I am not. Now, listen.
Then you are not a man.
Listen. I am married. Listen. No, let me ask this. No, let me ask this. Now. Audience, please.
Sean asked Michael a question, and we all want to hear Michael's sincere answer. Am I correct?
Yes.
Michael.
Now, hear me.
They would want to know, have you sexually
been aroused,
lost after a woman?
That is not your wife.
I have not.
Other than your wife?
I have not. Now, let me say this. Now, this is the reason. Now, listen very carefully. What makes your body trigger? It's in your mind. Do you agree to that? Yes. I have seen men with the opportunity to sleep with other women, even though they are married. They do not sleep with them. Why? Are you all saying the audience, even shown today, if you're married, you have the opportunity to stay with a woman, you will sleep with her because of your polygamous nature? That's what they're saying.
The question. I don't sleep around.
I am saying that.
But I am saying that
the point is
naturally, it is in you.
It's not, no.
Even clerics,
it's a choice.
Great men
it's a
of
choice.
God, they will tell you that
same
you
way-
have
the
this
same
battle
way-
going on in your body, in your system.
Let me
but
say
what
this,
you
let me
do
say
is
this,
you
let me say
repress
this,
it.
let me say this.
What we are
You
saying
have
is
a
you are
pen.
naturally endowed to look after many women and lust after
That's
them.
not
It's
true.
only your choice not to
That's not
execute
true.
the thoughts going on in your mind.
That's not
But that
true.
doesn't mean that you're not a natural polygamist.
It's in you, as a man, that natural tendency
Yes.
to be polygamous.
Yes.
Now, as a married man, have you also looked at another woman
Yes.
who is not, hold on, have you also looked at
I know
another,
where you're going.
hold on,
Yes.
hold on. Have you also looked at another woman who is not your wife? Have you lust after another
Yes.
woman who is not your wife? Say it again.
But I have not executed it. Yes, I have lost after many women.
now.
Holding you back from executing.
It's just my self-discipline.
What I'm saying is,
But that doesn't mean I'm not natural. I'm not naturally polygamous.
if you talk about nature. Now, I did mention the other time to say, for example, I want you to listen to me. You have a pen. You can either write with it, or whatever you write it with, it's your choice. The pen is got an ink. You have a white paper. If you write good on it, you write bad on it. Now, it's your choice. I have seen men who says that if they sleep with other women out of their marriage, they should be cursed, and they use that as a form of restriction. It's a choice. Now, allow me. I don't want to answer that question.
But that doesn't negate the fact that
it's a choice.
it's in you. Biologically,
Now,
physiologically,
it's not
in
true.
you.
It's
My
not
brother,
true.
let me tell you.
It's not true.
Let me tell you. An average man produces millions of sperms in a day.
And that's
As a matter of
without
fact,
control.
as a-
And that should mean
And
that.
you need to let it
It's
out.
it's
Is that what you're
natural.
And that
saying,
should mean
Joe?
that.
It's without control.
And
It's natural.
that should mean that when you go to urinate,
Hold
just
on, let me
these
finish.
pants. That's what you're saying.
1,500 sperms are being produced per second
Okay.
in a man.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. Are you saying that
And you are saying that your wife cannot be positioned to cannot manage all that for you.
To get
That's
those
what you're
things
saying.
released?
You are saying
Don't
your
you
wife
know
cannot manage that
a
for
man
you.
will have prostate cancer
Is that what you're saying?
if he doesn't release
No,
those sperms?
if you begin to talk about...
Michael,
I
maybe
do
Sean,
not
you
agree.
need to clear this
I
up.
do not
You
agree.
said Sean is telling us that a man produces 1,500
500
sperms.
sperms per
Question to
second.
him.
So what does that mean? Does that mean he needs to let it out always?
Yes.
That's
If
not
he
true.
doesn't,
That is not true.
He's prone to having
That is not
prostate
true.
cancer. That is
That's not true.
scientific.
But
That is
he's
scientific.
also telling us
That is
something.
scientific.
He's also putting science. Show Michael, Show is also backing it up scientifically.
That is scientific.
He's telling us that, hold on.
That is scientific.
Show is saying that if a man does not let out or does not reduce the burden of 1,500 per
Second.
1,500 per second.
Let me say this.
Wow.
Let me say this.
He says the man needs to let it out or else it will
Don't you-
develop prostate
That's not
cancer.
true. That's not true.
That is a scientific fact.
That is not true.
I am quoting
Are
science
you a
for
medical
you.
doctor?
No, I don't have to be a medical doctor for
That's
me to know
not true.
facts that
Now,
are there.
my
I don't have
question
to
is
be.
this. Now, hear me. My question is this. If you say that now, is it natural for man to do good?
Don't bring
No,
morality
it's
into
a
this.
question. You have to answer
bring
that.
morality into
You
this.
have to answer that.
To do good.
Hold on. Polygamy, monogamy is not in the aspect of something being good or being bad.
Show, I would like you to,
Is it natural
answer his
for a man
question.
to-
Okay,
do
to move
good.
forward, yes.
It's natural for man to do good.
Well,
I'm asking.
it isn't.
It's not natural.
No.
It's not. I think it's
If you say
will.
now,
The
if you
willpower
say-
comes to play here.
If you say it's natural for a man to be polygamous, I will also say it's natural for a man to be monogamous.
No, it is not.
Now,
I
on
disagree
what
with you.
point are you basing your argument then? If you say it's not natural for man to be monogamous, but only polygamous, that's not true.
You are taking us back to where we started from.
I'm not taking it back. I want
I
you to
have told
substantiate
you
your
that
point.
men have higher level of testosterone
That
than
means-
women, and it generates lust. So that's why men are more lustful than women. I have told that. I have pointed to the sperm count. I have pointed to how sperms are being generated.
Okay?
A woman only releases eggs once in a month.
Okay.
But men do it per second.
And that is your basis for defining polygamy?
Menopause comes in.
Is that what you define
Menopause comes
polygamy?
in for women. Women get pregnant for 9 months. Women, they go through that period for like a week or 5 days. Now,
Are you saying-
what do
let
you
me ask
want
you
a
this.
man to be doing during those times?
Wow. Now, let me ask you this. During those times,
Do you want to kill him?
Let's talk biology.
Show,
Now,
let
Show,
him answer your question. Tell
you
Show
say,
what a man should be doing when
the wife is pregnant. Who told you that a pregnant woman cannot have sex?
Not all of them.
Yes,
Not all of them enjoy it.
Let me ask you this.
Not all women enjoy it.
If you say you produce about 1.5 million, whatever figure you mentioned, are you saying your wife cannot manage that?
If a woman...
Is that what you're saying?
There are some women that can manage that can accommodate that. But if a woman cannot, then why should you stress yourself? Why should you have prostate cancer because of that?
Did you hear that? There are some women who can manage that. There are some women who cannot manage that.
So and if a woman cannot do that, and if a woman cannot manage it, cannot accommodate, what do you do?
No, if there are some women who can manage that, and there's women cannot. Now, what are you saying? If some men can manage not being to be a polygamist, some men can also manage to be a monogamist. That's what you're saying.
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
In that what?
Based on what you said.
In that the hormones in them are different. See, this is where you miss it all.
The hormones in them are different.
This is where you miss it.
Where you are,
now
you are mixing this up.
You bring in the issue of equality into marriage or sexual relationship.
No, I've not done
Men
this.
and women are not equal.
I am not saying that. No, nobody has said that.
Feminists,
nobody has said that.
Women's rights activists miss it all.
Nobody has said that. Nobody has said that.
You're most responsible for sexual behavior in a man is different from what is responsible for sexual behavior in a woman. Women have lower levels of testosterone, so you don't always find them.
I am not bringing. Listen very carefully. Listen.
But men have higher levels of testosterone, and that's why they are always polygamous by nature.
If you say men have higher level of testosterone, is that the reason for qualifying all men to be naturally polygamist?
According to the question,
answer that question.
Naturally, men are polygamists.
Based on what you said,
yeah.
You say men are polygamous because they produce 1.5 million cells per second or whatever you call it.
Yes.
The men are polygamists.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Natural polygamists.
That's not true.
Always put the word natural.
If men are naturally polygamous, at the point of sexual intercourse, you should probably be I mean, let me go.
But mind your language, kids might be watching at home.
The genitals of a man should then be 2 or more on the body of a man. If truly you are saying man is polygamous.
But the testes,
listen.
We're
not talking of testes. The man many just shouldn't be 2, 3, 4 on the body of a man to adequately and evenly satisfy the women, if what you're saying is true.
Hello.
It's wrong.
Hello, it's not wrong.
It's wrong.
It is not wrong. Each organ of the body is created for a purpose. Men have two testes.
Okay.
Do you understand? And I have told you how
women have 2 breasts. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah, it's for us. It's for women to admire and cherish
it doesn't change anything.
And enjoy.
It's not just for you. It's also for bringing up a child.
I have said it now. See, not all body parts can be made into. Your head is not 2.
Of course, yeah.
Your mouth is not 2.
Yeah.
So what should be 2 has been 2, and what should be 1 has been 1.
So if it is 1, listen. No, so if it is 1,
I have said it.
Listen, if it is 1, if it is supposed to be 2, you should have 2 genitals. I maintain.
Okay, men have 2 testes, and that's why they're polygamous. What do you want to say about that?
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Men don't have 2 testes?
No, we're saying that.
I
you
said
because men have 2 testes, then they are polygamous.
I am countering your argument that because you are saying men have 1
what do you define
genital.
as,
so
what do you define as polygamy? What do you define as polygamy?
That's why they should be monogamous.
So the point, now let me make this very, very clear.
Okay.
If you say men are polygamous, now there's a lot of things we say in the society today that's really affecting the morals of those who have decided to be disciplined on their own. There are many things we say that affects them, and they eventually listen.
They will always lost after
it's
women.
It's not true.
Even your men of God.
Many people today, listen to me.
Find out what they do in
many
the
people today go by what people say
with their church members. You will understand.
Naturally, people who a child of adolescent of about 12 years who do not want to steal, if he begins to say it is normal for a child to steal, he would one day venture into that act because he said, listen,
in the issue of polygamy with morality or moral decay.
It is the same.
They are different. They are not the same.
If you say
they are not the same.
It is natural.
It's a sexual behavior. It is natural. It is God given. It is natural. Don't bring in the issue of sin or iniquity or immorality into this.
So my point is
in some religions, you have heard it.
Yeah.
In Islamic religion, the Quran urges men to marry more than 1 wife.
As many as
possible, as many as they can. If you can take care of your wife,
I think
go ahead.
I think there's a limit.
Them.
So don't mix it up. I think there's a limit. They're only allowed to marry 4 at a time. 4.
Okay.
So we don't mix it up,
so,
please.
But my argument still stands that in Islam, you can marry more than 1 wife. So don't bring in the concept of morality or religion or
I will bring no. That's why I needed to establish the fact that in some religions it is acceptable, it is morally right.
If it's acceptable.
And so we are looking at it out of the religious context now. That is why I'm trying to remove that word polygamy now, because I know polygamy is a form of marriage where a man marries more than one wife. So that's why I'm saying that is man Is a man naturally wired to have that desire, that lust
And you have-
for more than one woman?
Let me say
You have
this.
not
Allow me
given
answer
me
that
any
question.
Allow him
Sheol,
answer that question.
Sheol,
Sheol, allow him answer the question.
based on the question he asks, are men naturally
Wired
that way? How do you measure? How do you score? How do you validate that point?
Scientists have done that
Listen.
for many years.
Socially, in the world today, in the society, for you to validate that point, then you have to say that you have seen a man who is married to multiple wives, right? That's what you can say. Truly, the man is wired that way. That's what you're saying.
No.
But listen.
You are mixing
to
things up.
validate that point.
No.
Now, how can a man be polygamous?
You are using
by
the
nature
effect to define the cause.
Listen.
Don't
How
use the
can a man
effect
be
to define the
polygamous
cause.
by nature, and you cannot validate the effect in his social life?
My brother, it is because men are naturally polygamous. That is why you see the effect that they marry many wives.
I
have proven you have not given me one scientific proof to support your argument.
If you say,
only been referring to social issues or social research.
So, what is you have, what is the color of your blood?
Red.
Red. How do we know if it is red?
Because when you're caught, it flows out.
You see it. How do we confirm or define or validate that standpoint by saying a man is polygamous? By saying what?
Scientists have
Scientists
have measured hormones.
They
have seen hormones.
By
They've measured it.
It's truly
They've
married to
measured
what?
spans,
Multiple
sperm
wives.
counts.
So my
and they
question
can
is
prove
this:
to you
how do you validate that a man is
men are more
monogamous?
sexually
It's by
active.
saying that he's married to
higher
one
libido
wife.
than a woman.
It's simple. It's simple.
What are you saying? Come again.
Get me right again.
Yeah.
I asked you a question.
Okay.
What's the color of your blood? You said red. How do we confirm that truly your blood is red? By seeing it come out and you say that truly this is red. Now, how do you confirm that truly a man is polygamous? It is by social life.
It's a lie. Social life is the consequence of the natural provisions. Social effect you are talking about is the consequence of natural provisions.
Would you say that?
That scientists have measured the hormones responsible for sexual behavior. They have measured sperms, and they have told you that men have higher libido than women.
Sheol and Michael, your arguments have made you popular and unpopular, of course, with our audience here. Okay. And they are itching to ask you questions to also counter your argument. So I hope you're ready for that.
All right.
And that will be after this quick break. Don't go away. You're still watching The Big Issue. Welcome back. You're still watching the hottest debate show on TV. And indeed, it's really hot here in the studio. You're watching The Big Issue. Well, it's question time. And of course, Yakubu Tijani has the first question. You don't have to stand up. Go ahead.
Do you agree with me that women, they move by what they heard, while men move by what they see? Do you agree with that, sir?
I do.
So, are you going to say that those men in the northern state and some pastor that married more than one wife, is it a crime? Or it is a sin? So I want you to respond to that.
Let me get your question very clearly.
Okay, he wants to get your question
is not
clearly.
clear.
The question is, those pastors and some people in the northern state that married more than one wife, is it a crime for them or a sin? I want you to respond to that.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Kabiru.
Those pastors that marry more than one wife, is it a sin or a crime? The pastor first is a human being. And the debate we're having here today is man. We're not talking about pastors that are polygamous. So when it comes to that religious sector, I think we need to leave that out. The question I would say is man marrying two or more multiple wives, is it a crime if he does that? It's not a crime. It's not a crime. Just as a man who marries one wife is not a crime. Now, my question again is this. I did mention the other time, I don't know if I'm throwing this to the audience, is the evidence to confirm truly if a man is polygamous is to see it in his life. You know, and the evidence also see if man is naturally monogamous, also to see it in his life. I did ask a question, Sheol, is your blood red? You said yes. How do we know? We see it.
All right. The lady, you have the next question.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Higher. My question is directed to Sheol.
I know.
You said men have higher testosterone, like you said. And he said they tend to release 1,500 sperms per second.
Produce, not release.
Not release.
Okay,
The body
produce.
produces.
There are two different things.
So if that is true, aren't you supposed to be releasing them on the road, or aren't you supposed to be stepping on them everywhere?
The production of sperms is different from the release of sperms. The production is what I'm talking about. When you produce, it is stored. Then, before it becomes fertile, it takes some days.
Biology.
But what we are saying is, when it is produced and you don't release, it can lead to prostate cancer. And it's a scientific fact.
All right, quickly
Okay, you
respond to
said
that, or react.
if the man does not release the sperm cells, it's going to lead to prostate cancer. Are you aware that even men who are polygamous, married to 3, 4, 5, 10 wives, also have prostate cancer?
See, when we make,
So what do you say of that?
when researchers,
Maybe the chances of
that?
the chances
Are you saying they're not having enough sex even with their
I
wives?
think their chances are slim. They have slimmer chances of maybe. Am I correct?
If
So
you say
they
the
might have
chances-
slimmer chances of
Mike,
getting
If you say
prostate
the chances
cancer.
of a man who is
Mike.
married to multiple wives having the cancer, having prostate cancer is slim, then it means that all men who are married to one wife should all have been diagnosed with prostate cancer. That's what you're saying.
Mike, that's not the way science
So
works.
because no, that's what you're saying. If you're saying the reason
When we talk about
for
COSA,
sperm
when we talk
formation
about-
is and release is reason for polygamy.
Okay.
Then I am saying it is not true.
Okay, let me rephrase
not
my
true.
statement. Let me rephrase my statement. When you don't release the sperms in your body, you don't have enough frequent sex, a man stands the risk of having cancer.
Okay.
Prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer.
But there are many causal factors too.
Thank you.
But not releasing, not having enough sex is one of
the reason
factors.
Lack of sexual
polygamy,
activity
and you stand the
is
risk.
also
That's what you are
a
saying.
cause of cancer, according to Seun Idowu, and of course, doctors. Am I correct?
Yeah, scientists.
It's improving medically.
Yeah,
you say.
yeah. You
All
can
right,
Google
then.
it up.
The next question.
Comments are free. Facts are sacred. So I think Seun has been able to put fact to bear. You know, Seun has been able to put fact
Who
to
are you
bear.
trying to the question to me or to
Yeah,
Seun?
to you, but I'm
Now
just
let me
laying
hear the
it down.
question, please.
As a Pan-Africanist,
Let's quickly hear him out.
I do believe that African culture gives room for men to marry more than
Give
one
room.
wife. If you go to the Arabian Peninsula, you see it's also sacrosanct in that area. So my question is, how do you rationalize, because you were bringing statistics on board, and you were saying that men are monogamous, but how do you rationalize that many of these married people with one man, one woman, still have mistresses outside? How do you rationalize it?
Okay,
How do you
okay,
rationalize
now, okay, very good. Are you also aware that in some parts of the world that a woman, I want to use that word you said, allow. A woman is allowed to get married to multiple men. Are you aware of that? What do you call such women? Now, my point is this, my point is this. When you say culture, things are allowed does not mean it is natural. Get the points clear. The fact that it is allowed does not mean it is natural. How do you also rationalize? Now, that happens in the world. No, excuse me, allow me. That happens in the world that it happens. I mean, you are married to a single wife, and they happen to. Now, how do you also rationalize that men who are married to 2, 3 different wives still do not have concubines? And a case is Solomon. He was legally married to many wives, yet he had concubines. So the fact that a man is polygamous does not mean he will not still have side chicks. So I think I answered that.
But in certain cultures, of course, in Africa too, it is customary to measure a man's success,
By
wealth, accomplishment,
The culture allows it.
by the number of
The culture
wives
allows it.
he has.
The
So
culture
that
allows
is
it.
what that is why maybe sometimes, in those kind of settings, some men strive to get more than one wife because, of course, you are seen as, yes, a man that is well-to-do.
Yeah.
Next question.
When you were introducing the program, you said anytime you see African man, you see a polygamist.
According to Queen Aneve Adeni Adegeye, she's one of the wives of the Juju Maestro King Sonny Ade. That's
okay,
not
that
from
no
me.
African man can stick to one wife.
According
but
to
I still,
her,
okay,
a woman
according
like
to
you.
her. Okay, but I believe there's some men that are still disciplined.
Of course,
and they
I
stick
agree
to
with
their
you.
one.
Men like me.
Yeah, and they stick to their wife. So my question to Shemuna is, when we are talking about polygamy, we are talking about a man with more than one wife. If a man marries 5 wives, paid their bride price, brought them, they are living with him as
wives.
married woman, their wives. to the man. But when it comes to this issue of a married man having an affair outside his marriage, maybe he has children for the woman, but there's no bride price paid on that woman, and the woman is not living with him. Do you also call it a polygamy?
What we are saying here basically is this, that a man has the natural tendency to lust after many women. We are establishing that fact. And if a man has mistresses outside, despite having many wives at home, let him go and pay their bride price to marry them.
My question to
and
that...
if he's not ready to marry them, those women too should find their way and go and marry someone.
All right, my question to Sheun, which he has not answered, is this. If you say the proof...
So why haven't you answered? Let's hear the question. You must answer this time.
For a man to be naturally polygamous is to see that truly he's married to multiple wives.
No, that's not my argument. No, that's not my argument.
No, you said if it's allowed, the culture allows it, and then you see that it's married to one or two wives. My question is, so what do you call a man who is naturally also, in quotes, married to single women? What do you say that?
All right. We have more questions, please. But I want to establish that in this context, polygamy, as we're debating today, is that desire for a man to have multiple partners. Fine. Next question.
Yes. I think it is important that we answer the question. The question is naturally polygamist. And Sheun was actually giving natural factors that shows that fact. So what I'm looking at is that, can you also give us naturally, factors that show naturally why men are not polygamists?
Which is what I said earlier, to say that, what is the proof to define polygamy or a polygamous man? It is not by just seeing a man. I don't know if you are a polygamist, as you are like this, or a monogamist. When I will conclude to validate that point is to say whether you're a polygamist, when I see your wives that truly you are married to 2 or 3 multiple wives. Am I right? Am I right? Yes. Good. So now, my point is, if you also see a man who is married to 1 wife, naturally by also is a monogamous man.
All right then. Have you answered that?
I have told you that the effect does not define the cause.
So please, for the sake of time, let's try to accommodate everybody. Your question quickly.
My question goes to Sheun. Please, what's the difference between polygamy and polyandry? And is polyandry natural with women?
Now,
good question.
Now, polygamy is just basically someone having multiple partners, or having many partners, multiple partners. That's polygamy. Now, it is now broken down into 2. We have polyandry and polygyny. Polygyny is a man having many wives, while polyandry is a woman having many husbands.
So is polyandry, now, she wants to know if it also comes naturally in women, that desire, that tendency to have multiple partners as a woman.
If you have followed my argument, I have established causal factors that influence or inform the sexual behaviors of both sexes. And the reason why a woman does not have that natural tendency to lust after many men is because she does not have the hormones that will drive her to do such. It is not my making, I'm not making it up. These are scientifically proven facts, scientifically proven facts.
All right, thank you.
I have established that already.
Please. All right, quickly your question, sir.
I think we are all intellectuals in here this very day. Mr. Wokade, I need you to understand, when we say there is something that is called natural, natural talks about your innate. You cannot deal with it. It is inborn.
What's your question?
Now, listen to me. It's not about your question now. Now, for the fact you are saying man can choose, that is choice. Do you understand? So, Mr. Sheun has given us here that men are naturally inborn, innate. They are polygamous.
By what? How did he prove that?
By the configuring.
How? What is the
configuration of man from birth, from the DNA to the bloodstream to the thymus and everything.
What is the configuring?
Men are wired up to be. Listen, naturally.
What is nature?
If you are to be a Muslim,
when you are hitting a word, listen, excuse me. When you are hitting a word,
if you are to be a Muslim, you will not argue this. You are only arguing from a religious stand, and that's the fact.
I'm not arguing from a religious stand.
If you are a Muslim, you will not say to us here that men are not polygamists in nature. So let me tell you for a fact this afternoon that men are naturally polygamists.
Naturally.
It's now left for you to choose this day who you will serve, either one woman or 2 wives. Thank you.
I do not agree to that. Thank you. My question, can I ask him a question?
All right, no, okay, go ahead.
When you say man is naturally, is wired, what are the metrics?
One of these, when you say men are naturally wired, you are talking about their genetic makeup.
Excuse me. Hello, I like the first word you mentioned earlier before you hit
I've answered it now. Their genetic makeup.
Listen. Men are naturally polygamous, is what you said. What are the metrics of that nature that makes him qualified to be polygamous?
I have
and
answered
not monogamous?
you.
You've not answered
in the
me.
gene of every man, there's a DNA. In the DNA, there's a chromosome. In the chromosome, that's what it's saying to you
what's
now.
The chromosome is producing multiple what? What's the chromosome?
Should I help him out?
No, hold on. Now, what's the chromosome? He's asking him a question. What's the chromosome?
Now you are going to genetics. When you talk about all these things, the chromosomes is what makes up the DNA that makes up the genetic trait of a man. And these are gotten from the both sexes, which is the husband and the wife.
Okay,
And that tells you the tendencies of what the guy or the baby will have. Now, if it's a male child,
so talk on the
it tells you that he has the tendency of producing hormones. And some of these hormones produces the urge for sexual attraction and sexuality.
Good.
Now, as a married man, you are married. How come today our religious leaders look at the side chicks? Are they not married? That's to confirm to you that they have innate ability.
Let me say something.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
thank you.
Okay, hold on. You would respond to that. You would respond to that after this break. You're watching The Big Issue. We'll take a quick break at this point, and when we return, it will be time, of course, for the home run. Welcome back. Indeed, you will agree with me that we've been able to steer quite an interesting and, I dare say, controversial debate here today. Now, Seun, your final take on this subject of debate.
Thank you, Femi. Humans cannot be more civilized than our nature. We cannot become too advanced than the innate traits in us. We cannot kill it, we can only modify it. We can only tame it. And that's where discipline comes in. So I'm appealing to our wives, to our ladies, to understand men's nature and not to think that when your man looks around, he doesn't love you any longer. So you take up a gun or you take up a bottle and kill him. Put yourself in his shoes. Put yourself in his position. If you have that body, if you have those hormones, if you have those sperms, if you have those tendencies, natural tendencies to look after the opposite sex, what would you do?
What if we turn tables here? Because it appears you are saying the women should understand they should be considerate. Yeah. If it happens the other way around, will you be considerate?
Yes.
Now, let me take us back.
I asked for your last take. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's my take.
Quickly, please.
Let me go ahead.
I'm sorry.
See.
Do you want him to answer that? Because
let me go ahead.
Let me say this here.
No.
Let me
finish. Quickly. Apart from the fact that men are more sexually active than women, men are stronger than women. They serve as protectors. They provide for the woman.
So that's reason for polygamy?
Now, let me tell you. Let me finish.
I asked for your last take.
That's my last take.
But you didn't answer my question. I said if we turn tables now, will you be considerate?
I'm answering the question.
If your own partner manifests that tendency to be with more partners other than you.
Femi, I'll be blunt here. In the hierarchy of things, man is at the top. Man is the supreme. And the woman should be subject to the man. It is not about equal rights. It's not about feminism. It is nature at work because men have been made to be the head of the world.
All right.
Okay.
Final take, Michael.
I did ask a question, and that's, I still stand on that position. You don't know if I'm polygamous or monogamous. How do you confirm that? My social life. So if you see a man who is married to a woman, we can as well say he's naturally monogamous because that's what we can see socially. If we say because a man produces millions of sperm cells, then he should as well, he has the right, or he has, that is natural, because if production of sperms is the equation or definition of polygamy, I do not agree to that. Now, I also say this to the ladies. Do not let people use excuses of I produce so amounts of cells of sperms and all that, so hence I need to go out and do whatever I like. We saw something that happened a few days ago, like I mentioned as we started this program early on, to say that you can see there is a sequence. The results rather. So the point I'm making here is this. The fact that things happen does not mean it is natural. The fact that you see men married to different women, multiple women, does not mean it is his nature to do that. By choice, he did that.
All right, then. A round of applause for our debaters. Wow, gentlemen, as the umpire of the big issue, I would ask both of you to mend fences. You must officially sheath your sword right here on this stage. So I'd like you both to come on, shake hands, and of course, embrace. A round of applause for them. That's the essence. All right. Well, that's how it has been on the show today. Thank you very much for always being a part of the program. And again, you can follow me on Twitter to continue the conversation at Femi Akonde TVC. You can also join our online community at TVC News NG and at TVC Connect. Thank you for watching The Big Issue.